Am I the asshole for demanding that my husband pays half of the takeaway food we order? My husband, 40M, and I, 35F, have very different jobs. Basically, I make double than what he does and he argues that I should pay for takeaway food, especially because I am the wife and it is my role to cook. Therefore, if I cannot cook, then I should make up for it by paying for takeaways, since he already shares the split bill for food, groceries, and rent. To give you a little bit of context, I have just taken on a new role at the start of this month, as a head of department, with 6 new members of staff and a lot of loose ends to tie from previous leadership. We both wake up at 4:30 a.m. and while he gets home at around 3:30 p.m., I find myself arriving around 5:30 p.m. on a light day. His job involves food processing and while it is a laborious process, when he leaves his workplace, that's the end of the day for him, whereas I come home and continue working from home, including weekends, until around 9 p.m., when I just pass out as I am too tired. For him, home time means 90% being on his phone, laptop watching videos and playing games, making coffees and smoking his cigarettes. I am not going to lie and say he never helps. He does clean the bathroom and hoovers occasionally, once a month, and does the dishes, not without complaining though. Now it has come to the point where a few months ago, while he had one too many drinks, he told everyone at the table that he was investing all his money in my ass. This is when I started downloading every single receipt for grocery, phone bills, rent, Uber drives, takeaways, holiday accommodations, plane tickets, etc., all paid by me. His argument is that some of those trips were things that I wanted to do or see, which is why I never reproached anything to him. However, the fishing trip that he wanted so much also came out of my own pocket and I never asked him a dime for it. Last month, as we were mostly on holiday, he only contributed with around $200 towards monthly expenses with rent, food and bills, which again, I did not complain about, as I knew that he wasn't paid for most of that month. But now, once he is working, he is refusing to give me anything that is beyond rent, bills and groceries, stating that I am the woman of the house and it is my job to do the cooking. I told him that I am spread thin these days until everything is more streamlined with everything at work, and that maybe he could cook every now and then or heat some ready-made food, microwave or oven, but he asked me what was the point of him getting married if he was going to do the cooking himself? So, am I the asshole for wanting the bills to be shared equally, if both of us are eating? Also, not one single time when I asked him about ordering, did he mention the fact that I would have to pay for all of it. In certain instances, he was even the one asking me to order food. Edit. Having read the post that was shared here earlier, I noticed a few differences though. They were both going 50-50 for everything, including holidays, plane tickets, etc. I paid this summer alone around $3,000 of my own money, and he didn't contribute with anything I didn't even ask him to. Also, 90% of the clothes and shoes he has, I buy them for him, which I don't think was the situation where the wife had to max out her credit cards. I only pointed out the half split when he started keeping the money to himself, rather than contributing to shared things, only because I thought I was being taken advantage of. Whenever he has some money, he will spend it on some fishing gear, which he already has plenty of, or other gadgets. I, on the other hand, put money into a savings account which will go towards a house for us, whenever there will be enough for a deposit. I am not trying to play the victim card, but rather to understand if it should be me paying for the takeaways to compensate for the fact that I don't have time to cook. Edit number 2. For those wondering why we have separate finances, it is because whenever he had access to some money, he just spent it on boilies, twisters, baits, etc. Trust issues, red flags, I know. Also, for those wondering why I am still with him or what I get out of this marriage, it's simple, I love him. I suggested counseling, but he laughed in my face, saying I'm crazy and he doesn't need someone else to tell him what to do, when he already knows what he wants. I will suggest the 1, 3 and 2/3 split for all shared bills though. Not sure what to do about holidays and other expenses though. I feel that he will still expect me to pay for those, so we'll need to sit down and have a long conversation about expectations. Hard not the asshole. He is refusing to give me anything that is beyond rent, bills and groceries, stating that I am the woman of the house and it is my job to do the cooking. You need some serious marriage counseling or your marriage isn't going to last with his attitude. Personally, I would order takeout for myself and tell him that if he wants to eat he can order his own food. But then I can get petty when a man pulls the woman of the house card. Info. What does he actually bring to the table? Why are you with him? Especially if his expectation is that you are basically his mom that cooks for him. $200 for all of that is nothing. Change your husband and change your job. Waking up at 4:30 a.m. and then working until 9 p.m. is ridiculous. Why do you need him? You work longer hours but he expects you to do all home chores at home as well? What does he do? Not the asshole, but oh boy, do you have some relationship problems. You really need to sit down and talk to him, maybe with a counselor, about your wants and needs in a relationship. Do you really want to be with someone that thinks it's the women's job to cook? If that's the case, isn't it his job to provide? Why do you have to take it all? What's he bringing to the table? Am I the asshole? My friend won't stop asking me what size clothes I wear. So I have a friend that I am very much more cautious of, as I have continuously evaluated our friendship and realized that she is probably using me. And I'm not even sure that she really is a true friend for various reasons, including her befriending people who have wronged me in the past. Recently, we have been working together, and we typically wear uniforms. I was very ill for almost a year, and very overworked and lost about 20 pounds without really trying. I have always been very fit, and very into the gym, so I have muscle, and really I feel like a lot of people maybe thought that I tried to lose weight, but I didn't. I was asked continuously at work how I did it. When I responded that I have health issues, people just kinda backed off. Except her. She talks about my body every time I work with her. I have zero body issues, so at first it didn't faze me at all, as I talk to people at the gym all the time about workouts and aesthetics, but it's become a continuous thing with her where she asks me what I ate for lunch, what I eat, is surprised when I'm eating a damn donut or cookie, and constantly asks me about my body. Recently, I have been working pretty hard in the gym to put on some healthy weight. I just didn't feel like myself being so thin, so I put on about 8–10 pounds. I'm a short 5'3" female and currently about 140 pounds, 19% body fat, and wear a small in most things. More than anything, I just want to be healthy and not struggle with health issues, as I'm pretty young. So anyway, the thing that really bothers me is she keeps asking me what size uniform I wear. I wish I was joking, but she asked me what size I wear every time I work. Every time I tell her my size, she always says, "Oh, well, I can't wear that size, it just doesn't look good on me." I constantly reassure her that she looks beautiful, and I really do believe women are beautiful, regardless of their size, and she is not overweight at all. In addition, we are different ages and she has gone through a lot of life things like having kids, where I haven't, so in general, our bodies are just different. Yesterday she asked me again what size I wore. She has asked multiple times. And I told her that I had put on some weight on my pants, maybe were a little bit tighter than normal, but I wear as the same size, small. She just stood quiet, and later asked again what size I wore. At this point I was annoyed. Who cares what size I wear? I asked her if she didn't believe me or why she kept asking, and she said, "I know I should probably lose some weight, but I didn't think it bother you for me to ask you what size you are." She seemed really offended and basically shut down. I really don't understand why she keeps asking my clothing size every time we work together, but it's annoying. Am I the asshole? I feel like clothing size is very personal, and I would never be bold enough to ask what size someone wears. Not the asshole. I'd just tell her, "I'm the same size as the last time you asked me." Not the asshole. It's rude and invasive to ask someone's size. There's especially no reason to keep asking after you've answered. Something is off about her. Not the asshole. You could ask her why she keeps asking you this day after day. You could smile and say the same size I told you yesterday. You could tell her she is weirding you out. But there seems to be something off about her. If she is offended and stops, that is all for the best. Not the asshole. You need to stop engaging with her. If you feel it necessary, you could reply with, "Why do you keep asking me my size?" Then stop and do not say a word. It will probably be an uncomfortable silence, but stick with it. This puts the issue back on her. End it with something like, "This is the last time I'm talking about this." Then follow through. Not the asshole, same size as the last time you asked. And the time before that, and the time before that. So, you need to drop this. Thank you very much. Am I the asshole for telling my husband he needs to spend more time with our sons and not his nephew? Me, 45F, and my husband, 46M, have 2 sons. The older one is 21 and in college and works a part-time job on the side. The younger one is 16 and still in high school. My husband's brother has 2 sons as well who are 24 and 28. The older one is very nice and polite, but the younger one, let's call him Simon, had always been problematic since I can remember. He's a very picky eater, refuses to even bother engaging in a conversation unless he's interested in it, and would always be the one getting fussy if we go somewhere on a family gathering. He hardly ever addresses me, and whenever he used to come over, whether by himself or with his brother, he barely managed to greet me. If I ask him personal questions, he shuts me down easily. However, he and my husband seem to have a good friendship and even talk on the phone once or twice a week. My husband's brother works 2 jobs and wasn't always a very present father. So Simon had attached himself to my husband even as a kid because of availability and common interests. When he was around 5, Simon even used to say he wants to marry my husband. We all saw it as a joke and moved past it, but I found the attachment odd since then. He and my husband both like guns, hunting, video games, and the same types of music. Even cars too, which is my husband's main hobby these days. A few months ago Simon wanted to go on a hunting trip with his father but got refused, so my husband offered to take him instead. I told him he should take our sons too and Simon's brother, so it would be like a family bonding experience. He agreed, but apparently it didn't go well. My older son and Simon's brother didn't like it, and my younger son was on his phone the whole time and complained since the hunting grounds are further away and require a lot of walking. My husband told me this and said he wouldn't force anyone else to come if they didn't want to. But ever since then, he and Simon spend a lot of time together. They go hiking every other Sunday in the morning, and Simon often comes over to help my husband with the cars he's fixing up or play games while I'm at work. Simon only briefly greets me, while oftentimes not even bothering to greet his cousins. My younger son told me he asked my husband for something, but he told him he'll do it later and then forgot about it. It upset me because I feel like he's neglecting our sons while having no issues spending time with his nephew and always talking to him on the phone. Simon seems more like a son to him than our actual sons, and it really bothers me. He claims I'm overreacting and it's not a big deal. And that he tried to spend time with our sons, but they don't seem all that interested in doing what he likes doing. I told him they're his sons and he should show more interest, but he claims I'm being too pushy and overbearing. Every time I bring it up with him he gets annoyed. In 10 years, Dad will be complaining that his sons never want to spend time with him. So your husband only wants to hang out with his sons if they want to do what he wants to do? Tell him about getting to know his sons and find out. Do what they want to do. The reason your husband doesn't care is because he has a replacement, Simon, so your husband is not eager to have a relationship with your sons. Your husband and Simon are selfish individuals, that's why they get along. LMAO, the irony of your husband being the exact same type of parent like his brother, but then saving his nephew from his brother rolling on the floor laughing, rolling on the floor laughing, rolling on the floor laughing. I can only laugh. Not the asshole. Not the asshole, but I am not sure about your husband. I guess when they get older and don't speak to him, maybe he'll care. Maybe he won't. Be the best mom you can be, and let whatever happens, happen. You are the asshole. Am I the asshole for trying to stop what I thought was a prank at my friend's wedding? My friend, Ashley, got married last night to her longtime partner, Kevin. Kevin's best friend, Frank. He's a bit of a prankster and it's usually all in good fun. Ashley has shared there are times that Frank goes a little too far to stir the pot, but he had promised to be on his best behavior for the wedding. I had agreed to help deal with Ashley's boundary-stomping family as well as look out for any pranks that Frank might pull. Even though we knew he said he'd be good, we know Frank. Ashley and Kevin are big football fans. At one point in the night, they wanted the wedding party to don 49ers jerseys they purchased to get a few photos in. Frank is also a football fan, but is diehard for the Chiefs. There's always been some banter back and forth between Ashley and Frank over this. In the beginning, Ashley said he was refusing to wear the jersey she bought. Eventually, he gave in and said it was just 5 minutes, so no big deal. He did keep cracking jokes that he'd show up in a Chiefs jersey, and Ashley always said with a serious face, "Yeah, no, don't you dare." So, I was to assume that hey, he's not wearing it. The time came for the wedding party to put on our jerseys over our dresses, suits. The wedding party went upstairs. As I'm waiting with the other bridesmaids, I see Frank come out of the bathroom in a Chiefs jersey. I asked what he was doing. He smirked and said it was all good. I told him to go change. Again, he repeated it was all good and he had permission. Considering Ashley hadn't told me and it wouldn't be out of Frank's wheelhouse to try to pull one over on me, I said, "No, she didn't. Why are you trying to cause problems on her wedding day? That's when Kevin came out of the room he and Ashley were getting ready in and asked what was going on. Frank said, "She doesn't believe me." Kevin seemed to have a lightning bulb moment and was like, "Oh, yeah. We meant to tell you that Ashley agreed it was fine for him to wear the jersey, they have some cool poses planned." I said all right, apologized to Frank for the misunderstanding and moved on. I think the pictures will turn out great. After Kevin and Ashley left, I stayed behind to help clean up some stuff. Frank approached me and said I was a drama queen for making a big deal about the jersey. I said I had no clue Ashley gave him permission, and given his history of antagonizing people, playing pranks, I thought it was a fair assumption. He said it was none of my business. I pointed out that I had been put in charge of making sure he didn't pull any pranks, which he knew. Still, he told me that I should have minded my own business. We haven't bothered Ashley and Kevin with this, and I have no plans to. However, it got around some of our friends and they're split. Some say I was in the right given Frank's past. Others say I was being controlling and dramatic. Am I the asshole? Did it get to the point of yelling, wondering since you said the groom came out and asked what was going on, and if so, who was doing the yelling? Nah. But Frank needs to back off and realize that his claim of having permission was not enough given his history of being an idiot. Not the asshole you were told to watch him AMD you did. You were told that jersey is part of the set. So you are in the clear. And not the asshole. You were given a job to keep Frank in line. He should be embarrassed that his friends feel the need to do so. Not the asshole at all. Frank is being the drama queen. You did your job.